Welcome to the latest episode of Thinking Tackle. I'm Ali Hamidi and I'm joined by long-standing friend Tom Dove. We're at St John's on the Linear Fisheries Complex and we've got off to a great start. We've already had 9 bites between us. Dovey's had 5, including 420s, I believe, mate.
Yeah, 420s now, yeah, nice.
Awesome, awesome. It's just a bit of our success so far. We're going to get him back and get the rods straight back in. Well, after an epic game of paper, scissors, rock yesterday, which I was fortunate enough to win, Dovey,
Yep.
You got the second choice of swim. I picked the left-hand side. You picked this other sort of open area with that big tree line in the far distance.
Yeah.
You still fancied it though, didn't you?
Yeah, to be honest, I almost fancied this more than that side, even though the guy in here before had caught out of that swim. I don't think he was fishing across that far margin. And I thought that if you fish it effectively, you could get quite a lot of fish out of it.
Now, looking at this and the fact that it's a day ticket lake, now neither of us have ever fished here properly. You've had a little foray on mixers and
last
haven't
year
you in
we've
the
had
past?
them, yeah.
Now, look at this swim.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that many people can fish to that far margin accurately, consistently, day in, day out. So that's got to be an advantage from the start.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's hard work fishing up against like an island or a far bank like that because it's not an easy thing to do. But if you make the effort and try, it's a brilliant place to fish.
Right, okay, so you've got this far margin now. Firstly, talk me through how you sort of pick the spots along it.
Right, okay, normally if you're fishing up against an island, I'd just pick spots that look nice, like overhanging trees, like sort of areas like that.
Not so much like barren land, but like bits with overhangs, the obvious stuff.
Somewhere where carp would hang out, basically.
Yeah, chill.
Because we've got the opportunity to walk around and actually see where we're casting in it, which is perfect. I've done exactly that, walked around, seen where there isn't as much weed, spots where it looks likely you're going to get a bite, and that's where I've cast to from here, and then walk around and put some bait out.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. On that far bank, you can't actually sort of fish, but you are allowed to go around and put your bait in, so it's a brilliant little viewing spot, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that.
And do you think fish are constantly patrolling along there?
They are, yeah. I mean, we can sit over there for 10 minutes and just watch them swimming past. And where you put in the bait, you can see that they're swimming past and going down and eating it, so it's quite an exciting way to fish.
Right, okay, so you've got your 3 rods here. Now, I know you're fishing 2 over there.
Yep.
How have you picked those 2 spots? What makes you decide what to pick?
With these ones, like I said, because you can walk around and see where it is, there's a big band of weed that's about 10 foot off the bank and runs parallel all the way down. And there's areas where it's pulled back a little bit, the weed, and you can just see that there's a slight clear area there, and that's where I've cast.
So you've got a bit more gap between the bank and that bank of weed.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit more sort of space to get your bait in there because it's not easy to get it as tight to the bank as you want it to all the time.
Yeah, talk me through that, because you're casting a long way and your lead's got to go past that weed, under those trees and into the clearing. Yeah. If you hit that clip too hard, it's going to spring back into the weed.
Well, you can't hit the clip too hard because it'll go in the trees.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to hit it perfectly. And when I'm casting to an island, I'll always make sure that my clip is set up so my rod is straight.
Okay.
So every time I hit the clip, I make sure my rod's straight, and then I don't even really get a chance to fill the lead down because there's very little room for you to fill it full. So.
But by it hitting the clip, you know it's not going to tangle, it's going to spring forward, so you sort of cast out, lay the rod forward, and the whole lot bungees away.
And obviously it's exactly the same time, every single time. So.
Right, brilliant, brilliant. Now, out there, are you confident with a few more bites?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had 5 bites, 3 on my middle rod and 2 on my left-hand rod, and we'd reeled in for a little while as well. So I'm really confident, especially that middle spot. It seems to be doing it more so than the left-hand one, so I'm pretty sure we're going to get some more, yeah. Brilliant,
brilliant. And the right-hand rod that you've got, any ideas, any plans with that?
To be honest, it's laying pretty dormant at the moment, so the sun's coming out, I think, in a little while, so I'm going to put some zigs on. There's a couple of fish out there on the surface already. So if I don't reel it in and do a little bit of floater fishing, I'll put a zig out and see how it goes.
Wonderful. Well, the sun's out. We're in a lovely shallow area of the lake. The carp are moving around. Dovey's already caught a few, and knowing him, he'll sort that right-hand rod out and he'll be catching on that very soon. Well, we both really fancied this side of the swim when we first got here. I've got that lovely tree line just moving along there. It's a much shorter cast than Tom's got, so it's a lot easier to fish. But on the other hand, the fish are more pressured because it's easier to reach. The fish are definitely a bit more cautious. Certainly the ones we've been watching as we've been feeding them at the edge, they certainly seem a little bit more finicky, and I think they're probably going to be a bit harder to catch. So it's going to be a case of sort of keep the bait trickling on the spots. Don't always cast out, you know, let them have a little free feed every now and again before you put a rig back out. So let me talk you through where I'm fishing. Got a little dead tree over there. and just to the left of it, when you actually go round on the bank, you can see a little clearing. Okay, that's obviously where the fish have pecked away at it constantly, and it's opened up a lovely clean gravel area. So I'm actually fishing a solid bag just to the left of it. I don't want to fish hard on that clear area. I want to fish just to the edge of it and a bit back into the deeper water, so the carp may be a little bit more confident feeding there. And then just moving up the bank a little bit, about another 10 yards, there's a lovely bay of gravel. Okay, it sort of cuts back in there. There's a pipe under there that I believe every now and again they turn on, trickles out a bit of water, and that lures fish into it. So I've got a rig there that's quite tight, that's onto that neat gravel, so I can fish pretty much a standard little bottom bait. I've actually got 2 half baits, which I'll show you later, critically balanced, and then I'm just scattering chopped boilies around it. So it's a nice little setup there. And on my third rod, I've not decided yet what to do. I did have it out long last night, but similar to Tom's situation, there's a big bank of weed this side of where I'm casting, and the fish I hooked was straight, solid in the weed, and I couldn't do anything with it, and the hook come out. So I may, for the day, decide to use a zig rig and just fish out in there where I see cruising fish and just have something popped up there. So for now, 2 rods are sorted, trying to work out the third, but I am very confident of a few bites today.
Well, look at him. I've got to be honest, I didn't know whether a common or a fully scoured first of all, but he is a beautiful little fully scoured, about 18 pound. Not that it really matters when they're as good looking as this one though. Let's see if we can get him back and catch another one.
Right then, a chance to look at Dovanelli's rig. Dovster, you've got off to an absolute flyer, 4 20-pounders, a little double, and what I've got in my hand is the rig that's been doing the damage.
Yep.
So talk me through why you've gone for this sort of setup.
Right, okay, basically this is almost a hybrid between a KD rig and a standard knotless knot.
Okay.
I've got a semi-stiff end trap hook link,
okay,
which is whipped all the way around, so the only part that's supple is the hair.
Right, well let's have a look at that then. At the hook end, you see there he's got the sort of supple, uncoated braid to form the hair, but then he's taken the coated area to knot all the way around to form the knotless knot, and then that follows all the way up to the actual quick link there, Tom. What knot have you used to form the loop?
Just a figure of 8 loop knot, that is.
And that will hold with this type of coated braid?
Yeah, absolutely fine, yeah.
Brilliant. Right, let's go down to the hook bait there, because I can see you've got a bit of cork in there. Tom, why are you doing that?
I'll just put a little bit of cork. It's only sort of half, 2/3 of the way through, just to balance it up a little bit, because it's quite a big old hook on there, size 6. So I don't want the whole thing much heavier than the rest of the hook baits. So a little bit of cork in there just balances it out and it acts sort of more naturally, really.
So that negates the weight of the hook. It behaves like a freebie.
Exactly the same.
All right, Tom, let's talk about the actual rig itself.
Yep.
Now, why have you chosen this? You know, you come to this day ticket late for the first time, you know, properly fishing it.
Yep.
Why this rig over some of the others in your repertoire? Why not a KD rig? You know, why have you gone for this sort of more shorter hair, less movement option?
I've just started using this more recently, just because, one, I hate tangles, and that is a completely tangle-free rig. You've got no supple bit before the hook, you've got nothing at all, and because the hook link, the coating, sorry, is all the way through, you've got almost a stiff hook link, whereas everybody else has always got that supple bit. So again, it's just trying to be a bit different to what everybody's doing at the time.
So the likelihood is, as a carp sucks that in, that hair's got the freedom for the bait to waft around,
yep.
But the hook is that little bit stiffer, more likely to stay in position.
Yeah, it's harder for them to get rid of it because it's all stiff, very similar to a chod rig, you know, like when that chod section's in their mouth, they can't get rid of it because it's so stiff. Yeah. So I'm sort of trying to get the same thing from my bottom baits now. Unless
they were clever enough to stop there on the spot, back up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, brilliant. So that is something you take to any day ticket lake in the country.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially nowadays. I'm trying to be all the time. I'm trying to be different to what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So at the minute, everybody's trying to use the KD rig with you know, a lot of supple, soft hook link, and I'm just trying to be.
So we've had the fruits of our labour with that, haven't we?
Yep.
So we've enjoyed the success.
Moving on, hopefully.
Yeah, brilliant. Like, let's move up to the lead system now. This is a pretty standard sort of lead clip setup. Why have you gone for that?
I use a lead clip pretty much 90% of my fishing, obviously, if I'm not using a chod rig, just because I like to get rid of the lead every single time,
Right.
especially in a situation like this when you're fishing over loads of weed and up against the far bank. If I don't get rid of that lead, I'll lose the fish.
So that's a hybrid lead clip you've got there.
Yep.
And literally that swivels inside that plastic. It's forged in there, isn't it?
Yep.
So that can never come undone.
No, the swivel won't come out this side. So
yeah,
the
it's
only
fixed.
Thing, yeah.
It's moulded like that. And then what I noticed as well is you've hardly got that put on at all, have you? That tail rubber is just nicked on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people tend to ram it all the way down the clip, you know, and that makes it hard for lead to come off.
Yeah, well, you want the lead to come off, so put it on as least as you can, so it definitely comes off.
So least possible movement, bang, and then
Exactly.
some sinking rig tube. Why have you got that sort of small length there?
Again, well, you only need it as long as your hook link is, obviously, so you don't get the tangles, and that's just long enough to pin a nice area around your hook bait.
And protect the flank of the fish during the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. Lovely little day ticket setup that's catching Tom Carp from the off. Get on it.
Well, what a lovely way to round up day one. This is my 9th now, again on the middle rod, but both rods are producing bites now. Seems that far margin is really producing it for me. It's a little bit quieter down Ali's end, but I think he's going to change tactics for tomorrow and see if he can get in on the action.